All my favorite songs are slow and sad. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Welcome to the Sad Song Queens podcast, where we dive deep into the songs that make us cry. I'm Laura Webb.
And I'm Lindsay Wolfington. Today, we are talking with Lily Kershaw about her song, Depreshmode. Lily Kershaw is a Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter with a magnetic purr of a singing voice. Her songs are often raw and emotional and have a beautiful simplicity to them.
Lily's music has amassed over 80 million streams collectively and has been placed on numerous hit TV shows, including Grey's Anatomy, Ted Lasso, Criminal Minds, as well as Lindsay's shows, Virgin River and Sullivan's Crossing. Last year, she released her third album, Pain and More, which explores the many forms of depression that have shadowed her life for years. At times, it's an uncomfortable blend of melancholy, wit, and resilience. All the more reason we love it and wanted to chat with her today.
Yeah, I was skimming through the album, and there are so many sad songs to choose from. But Depreshmode got me.
We had thought originally we might do Soft Dark Nothing, as that's a go-to.
It's just like a classic sad song.
Yeah, and so we quickly pivoted to Depreshmode.
So grab those tissues and let's get into it.
Because we all need a good cry. And now, Depreshmode by Lily Kershaw.
I've been looking for my own personal Jesus, something I could believe in, a God of my understanding, a soft place for landing. Is there anybody out there who can tell me where we go and why I am scared? Is there an action to break this curse and free me while I'm still here on earth? 'Cause I've been living in mourning. I can't make it go away. Don't know how long this time it'll stay. Is the laughing a warning? Is the laughing a warning? I've seen all sides of my demons. Shadow work takes believing. Once it's in the corner and says sadly, go on, do it, I love you madly. But in that action lies a curse, and I know I'd miss the earth, but it just keeps on nagging. I can't make it go away. Don't know how long this time it'll stay. It just keeps on laughing. It just keeps on laughing. Saw the finest minds of my generation get high on their devastation. Watch the darkness closing slowly. Now they sleepwalk past me. In that action lies the end. God, I wish I had a friend, but I know they're all sleeping. And I can't make it go away. Don't know how long this time it'll stay. It just keeps on laughing. Do you hear the laughing?
Welcome, Lily.
Thanks for having me.
That song is just gorgeous.
I love that when you say generation, like
Yeah.
it's like a crack in a voice in a really beautiful way.
That whole verse you like barely get out.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a
Yeah.
miracle you're singing it. How do you do that?
When I recorded it, I remember feeling like very heavy, and that definitely, I was feeling it I haven't played it a ton live,
Mhm.
probably because I'm concerned. Like,
Yeah.
it makes me feel sensitive.
Right.
And not in a
Yeah.
bad way, but just like how sensitive do I want to be on
Yeah,
any
it was
given night,
raw.
you know? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think that's why we had originally thought we were going to do Soft Dark Nothing because Lindsay has used it, which we'll talk
Yeah.
about. But then this is like, how do you, it's just so undeniably beautiful, touching, and sad, and also a really great thing to talk about.
Well, that's assuming we.
Get the theory right.
Well, so
Oh my
what do you
God.
think, Laura?
So I think it's during a depressive episode, and you're lost, and you're looking for meaning at a time when you're at a very low. And I think even about like that you need a friend. Maybe you're writing this in the middle of a night, and that you just felt like you couldn't talk to people, and you didn't want to bother them. Or also, I think when you're in those times, you feel so like no one's going to want to hear this. So even reaching out feels very vulnerable, and you're like, I'm at such a low to even reach out feels so tough. And I have some questions, but that's mostly the
And I would echo what Laura's saying, but take it to it feels like a contemplation of suicide. And then, I mean, maybe it's not. Hopefully it's not. But the whole like, in that action lies a curse. And I know I'd miss the earth, but it just keeps on nagging. I can't make it go away. Don't know how long this time it'll stay. I feel like applies maybe more to depression. But I just feel like when it's like all my friends are sleeping, like, is it nighttime and they're actually sleeping? Or is like anyone who'd understand what contemplating taking your life means they're not around anymore to ask about it because they succeeded. I mean, I've gone really dark, but we love darkness here. So
Yeah. I mean, it's all of that. It's originally I started writing the song as like a kind of a joke, which is probably a sad thing to say.
okay. Well, I did questions about the laughing.
Oh,
so
right.
Go on.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, in terms of my own experience with depression, for me, sort of once something, there's like this, when there's sort of like this, whatever, that like there's almost like this sort of like, suddenly everything becomes funny because it's so like
That's all you can
painful.
do. Yeah.
That's like sort of when I would feel the most concern because I like it felt like I had stopped caring or something. But that actually came later. Like originally, just like with Depreshmode, and when friends would ask me like, "How are you?" Like I want to be honest, but I also just don't want it to become like a thing. So I'd be Depreshmode. Like I thought it was like a funny.
Oh, you
thing
would
to
literally say it. Okay.
I thought it was a funny thing to say that kept it very light, and like then I would still get invited to like people's birthday parties. Like, yeah. And then I just kept in my head that like maybe one day if I ever actually wrote a song called that, like the opening line would have to be, I'm looking for my own personal Jesus.
Absolutely. Bravo.
So clever.
Yeah.
No, we were, yeah, so clever.
But it really did start as like kind of like I want to talk about this lightly in a
Yeah.
funny sort of pun way. And then as I actually started writing about it and I kept digging more and then like more kept, I don't know. It actually surprised me. And that song, I ended up writing like many versions of it. And I'm more of the like, you kind of get it down in one take. And if it's kind of not there, I'll probably move on. But this one I was like, oh shit, I think I have to be a good editor. And I ended up editing it for, I'm not kidding, I clocked the hours. I did 18 hours of editing on this song, which
Wow.
feels crazy in hindsight, but I also feel like
is that in the writing process or after recording editing?
in the writing process.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I probably have done 18 hours of editing on a song, but yeah. And Brandon, who I co-produced this record with, halfway through, I was like, I think I've broken something. Like, I don't think I can write like a song anymore. And he was like, I think you're probably just in the middle of it. And I was. I literally, it was like hour 9 or something. And it took me a few days, but then I finally like, because there were just other verse ideas, other chorus, just like I had to find what was going to sit together. And I'm really proud of that song. And for me, it is like accurate of the experience that I had with my like prolonged depression.
With I saw The Finest Minds of My Generation. Was that about seeing therapists? And
Oh my God, love.
yeah.
I interpret it as like rock stars.
I have a lot
Oh.
of beautiful, talented artist friends, luckily all still here, who,
Great.
yeah, very,
Yes.
very
Woo.
happy for that. But
I was wrong.
they're here still, which is
Good.
very, very nice. But I think just several of them are a lot better at avoiding their pain. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? Like, so
Right.
for me, I've never been like really good at numbing. I don't really drink. I just alcohol, and I never like fell in love or anything. And so for me, it's like uber painful. Like I can't escape anything ever, which is why songwriting is really helpful for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had these friends at that time too when I was like willing to like fully look at what my life had been for many, many years and was actively then writing a record about it. I thought I was going to write a record about something else. Then I couldn't stop writing about depression. So I was like, well, I guess now's the time.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like a little crazy because I just kind of wanted to shake everyone and be like we have to like look at this, like,
Right.
you know, and also like maybe their depression isn't as bad as mine, and like the drink does it for them and whatever, like, or I don't, not to like be like who's worse or there's no competition.
Yeah.
In the Pain Olympics, everyone gets a medal. Sorry.
Yes, everyone will get hit by it.
It's like, you know, so I just concerns about my friends, who I could see it in, who maybe didn't acknowledge it, and then ultimately just like, it's the amount of times I'm like, it's the middle of the night and I literally can't call anyone.
I love that I'm kind of wrong, but I also feel it's like poetry, right? Where you can take what you want from it. And I think the Depreshmode of it all put me in this like 90s mindset. So when I read that the finest minds of our generation get high on their devastation, I feel like one, like all these amazing 90s rock bands, but like people who were struggling, Jeff Buckley, Chris Cornell, like even into and even into the 2000s, like Chester from Linkin Park, like all these people who have succumbed to, you know, well, some of them to their depression, but also like written songs, amazing songs about like their devastation. And obviously Laura and I love that in another way, right? So that's the lens I was looking through that lyric at. And that's part of what I love about poetry and songwriting and all that stuff is all the different things you can take from it.
I have many writers that I'm fans of, who, not just in music, but like it's actually an Allen Ginsberg reference. Howl, you know Howl?
Oh.
I believe I'm probably going to butcher. It's the best. Is it the best minds of my generation? Yeah, I saw the best minds of my generation, like basically succumb to this madness. And so I don't know. I really love Allen Ginsberg. I love Joan Didion. Like there's definitely like, especially in this record, like I definitely pay like little homage to the people who like have taken me along and like, I mean, you know, like music, art, books, like it's like, ugh, I'm gonna cry. It's like Saving Grace, you know?
Oh, agreed.
Crying as well.
Yeah.
But like it's the only thing that like gets you through.
No, it's true. Because they see you or you just feel like, oh, I'm not alone in all this. That is like a glimmer of hope or just that connection. Like I think like I was thinking today, I was listening on my walk this morning, and I was thinking even like how we started this podcast was like we wanted connection. I think like when you really think about it, even in our day job, we've been doing this for 20 years and it's like it's so nice to connect and talk about it.
I can imagine.
Well, listen, like maybe we're needing a breakup song, but then this beautiful song about death, but you're like, oh, no, I need this right now. And then it's like we get to sit and I'm so thankful that we have this place to get to talk and connect. And connection is how we can like get through these tough times.
100%. Is death not a breakup though? Just
I mean, no.
Well, it depends,
Well,
right?
It's a certain lyric.
of
like,
death of a relationship.
Of course.
Yes, no, agreed.
Isn't that wild that you guys like get, I mean, of course you get like very just specific
We
guidelines.
have to,
Isn't that wild?
Well, and it also depends what kind of breakup or what kind of death, or you know, is it the moment someone's dying or is it the funeral after they've died? Like, right? Like it's all these
or if they're getting back
is right.
Or if they're like, we know because we've read all the scripts, they're getting back together. Do we go full tilt or
hurt
just
them
like,
because it's going to be better later?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell myself that's what's happening in my life. She's getting hurt because it's better later.
Yeah, I know.
Hurt her.
I know.
You must be in the dark to see the light.
That is true though.
Yeah. I
That
think
is
so.
so true.
Yeah.
I think.
So to what Laura was saying, like when you kind of read people, do you feel like they get you?
Well, yeah, certain people. I think, like, I feel like Joan Didion in particular, she just like was very much like she was looking at it. I finally read The Year of Magical Thinking in the last month because I was avoiding it. That and Blue Nights because it's like her saddest book. It's about the loss of her daughter and the loss of her husband, and I also didn't want to be done with her work, her body of work. I was like so not wanting to be done, and then I read both of them, and they like really messed me up. Like, but then you look at things, and you hopefully well timed to be like, okay, I have a moment to like ponder this, and it's not gonna like stop me from opening my mail or something.
Right.
No, for sure. I know. It'd be interesting. Like, I lost my dad.
I'm sorry.
I remember reading that book before he passed, and we talked. I was in a grief support group, which was great,
That was wonderful.
and then a couple of us talked about it. And we're like, it wasn't sad enough.
That's like other concern.
We're like, no, go raw. But now I want to reread it.
I think for me, what may have made it not sad enough was I feel like she really fixates on certain like details about like the hospital, back on the state of this. And I feel like and who am I to say anything about her because she's my idol. But like, I feel like if she had relayed more of like the memories and experiences they had together, I don't think I would have gone on it. But like, I wanted to know about like the sweetness of their life together.
Yeah, and I feel that not everybody mourns differently, but I feel when I've gone to memorial services, funerals, I want to hear more stories, right? I know, sorry. Yeah.
Please
like
do.
I want to hear more about the person, and that's what's so special. Or like all these different people from different walks of life. Like, I like the painting of that picture kind of. But, I understand with like the tradition, people need the tradition of like at a Catholic service or a Jewish ceremony, like, sure. I just think, I like to hear who they were.
Yeah.
So to that element of wanting her to go farther, did you think of that as you were approaching this album, which you knew was addressing depression and all those fun things?
Yeah, I feel like what was very exciting for me walking away from making this record was there's not like a line that I wrote to like make a song work.
Right.
I was like, if it is the actual truth of my experience at that time, it can stay. And if it's not, I'll work until I find the line. And so for me with Pain and More as a whole, I'm like, that was the truth of my experience. And I'm very proud to like share it, And, like, after I finished it and like right before it came out, like there was a few nights where I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, what have I done today? Is this like too, just like have I said too much? But it's not where I am at the moment. It hasn't really been where I've been for a couple of years, which is really a nice relief.
Yeah.
The time in my life that ultimately was written about was like really a 5-year period of very severe depression that was not evident to most people in my life, even very, very close friends. I like admitted it to like a best friend towards the end, being like, this has been what's been going on. And they were upset because they were like, why didn't you tell? And I'd felt like depression and like pain, and I had a really bad injury in my early 20s as well, like had like sort of like eaten my 20s. And so like for me making this like, I don't know, it just kind of in hindsight, like makes it more beautiful or something.
Yeah. No, talking about it is obviously making you a little bit emotional.
I don't really talk about it with people. I'm realizing that.
Yeah.
This is so
that's
nice.
why we're here.
Thank you for having me.
Have people reached out from hearing this song?
Definitely.
And
mainly people are just like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because I'm like, are you okay? Like you're listening to the record? Like what's going on with you?
No, but that's, I think hearing that when you're like, I need a friend, I'm like, I'll be your friend.
I would be honored.
Yeah.
Let's go to the movies.
I know. Let's do it.
Like the feelings that are coming up again, did you feel them the entire time you were making the album too?
I definitely felt like I was moving. I was like on the other side of it.
Right.
I was making this record in the pandemic. I was seeing like almost no one, obviously, like, like living by myself. And I got to work with Brandon, which was really nice. Him and his wife had just had a new baby. So I was mainly just working on the record, and I wasn't like particularly in the depth of any depression or depressive episode at that moment in time. So it was just more like, okay, like what happened? Like what was that? Because I like the pandemic started for me at 28. I just turned 34. So thank you. So it's just like getting to really be like, okay, like if we're doing it, let's like fully look at it.
And was it cathartic?
Yeah. Also at the time, it just felt like the right thing for me to do. Just like it didn't even feel like a question. But I do remember Depreshmode was the first song that we recorded for it, and kind of like was the North Star. And I remember when we finished it, I was just like cried because I was like, oh my God, it's like exactly what I want to say, and it sounds exactly how I just like it was like just being like, oh, like. This, I'm sorry, I'm crying.
Don't cry. Don't apologize at all.
This is the song that I would have, like, not me singing. Like, if someone else had written and recorded it, like, I would have had it on repeat during my experience. Yeah. And this and another song, actually, maybe this other song called Poem Song. That
was going to bring up Poem Song. Go on.
I'm so proud of Poem Song.
Yes, it was beautiful.
I'm so proud of Poem Song. Another edit overhaul was originally 9 minutes.
Wow.
And no choruses, just stanzas.
Oh, wow.
But I'll send you the voice notes. I'm like crying and like a mess. But it when I was recording it, it's so
we love
crazy.
the realness.
With Poem Song, I get probably almost like a message a day of someone being like how important that song is to them, which makes me so happy because I wrote that towards the beginning of recording. It was one of the kind of later songs I recorded though. And I was just this friend, this pain friend, like just reared its head. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I just don't like when it comes back to the point of in the song, like, I just don't know how long it'll stay. Like, that is what freaks me out the most is like, is this a day? Is this another 5 years? Like what? I didn't really know what was happening to me in my 20s, to be honest, but I would not let it go that long again. I wrote Poem Song just from like this, like, it's like guttural pain. It's like bad. Like maybe you don't want to hear it.
I feel like Poem Song is like the hopeful sad.
Well, I wrote it for myself.
Yes,
I was like,
exactly.
you need to like keep going.
And
like,
for anyone going through pain, depression to be like, one day you're not going to feel this way. Like, what if this, right?
Yeah,
Like what you use a repeating phrase.
I say maybe a lot, which now I wonder if it's just like because my childhood dream was to play Annie and that never happened.
Okay.
And
in our very first episode where we were like, who we are, not our very first, but we did an episode because we're like, well, people need to know who we are and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And maybe from Annie, I was saying was probably one of the saddest songs I heard at a young age, not really realizing how sad it was when you're like,
but you just are like
to it.
connecting somehow and you know.
It's such a good song. I also have a song called Maybe. So now I think that's probably what has gotten in so deep is this kind of initial, like really connective.
Well, I find it a very inspiring song, but hope can be the best thing and sometimes a really hard thing. Yeah. Right?
Well, I feel like hope and suffering are like two sides of the same coin, right? Like you hope.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's like realistic and other times it just leads to suffering. But then you suffer and you hope again. So, right?
Yeah. I'm assuming you did something to get out of this really dark period. Did you go to therapy or?
To be honest with you, the pandemic was really helpful. Like the stop, everything just having to stop. And it cleared out some things in my life that just weren't working and some people that were definitely adding to like pain and heaviness. And it obviously it happened really fast. Like it was like our life was like this. Right. Our life is like this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only reason why I even like I had enough space and some of the things that were like aggravating like my own sort of baseline chemical situation in my brain. Like I kind of just got to actually like, stand up out of the rubble and be like, okay, like what has happened here? And then start to actually look at my life and experience.
How you were living.
Yeah. And what did I feel comfortable saying? And also like when I was writing it, are we touring again? Like are we like I wasn't thinking too much about like who was gonna hear it. I was just sort of like
but that's some of the best art, right? It really is. Like when you're being very honest, we've seen that come up where someone's like, I just needed to get this out. Like Moby was like, I lost my mother. I was having addiction issues. I was having, bouts of depression. And he's like, and nobody even wanted the album, by the way. Play.
Wait, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Everyone passed. But that keeps coming up. Like people just need to write it for themselves. And I think then that we connect to that because there's no artifice, you know? And there's no artifice in this.
I really try. I really try to like get there. But I do like the arc of like Depreshmode. And then the end being a poem song.
Yes, is it the last song on the album?
Yeah.
Okay, it came on when I got in the car this morning, so I was meant to hear it this morning
I'm glad.
too.
I just feel like it's like for me, it's like okay, we went through this, but like, here's the
hope.
Yeah, you gotta
the hope and the
But I also do believe in the hope. Like I do believe that things get better. You know.
Yeah.
The other day I was like working out with a friend, and my knee has been off recently, and I was like, do things just get like worse with time? And he was like, they get better with care, and I was like.
Oh,
shout out to Rashad.
I like that. I like that.
So now I just feel like, like I think we can hope because if we are taking care of things like to the best of our ability, like things will
can improve. Yeah.
So was there anything else that was helpful for you or?
Going through COVID, working on this album was really helpful for me. Like I hate to say that I just think that there was like a severe breakup with things that were not good for my mental health. And then I just like, my life is much more like balanced. I do a lot of walking. I like don't drink caffeine too late. I try to sleep well. Like, all the eat. I eat so much more nutritionally than I got diagnosed with like very actually severe ADHD last year.
Okay.
And I've been on medication for like 11 months or something now. My life has changed so much. And now I understand how much like undiagnosed ADHD was also playing a part in sort of a fog that I lived in that I really couldn't get out of. And so that's been like a newer addition in my life. And just sort of the first week after my diagnosis, I just like cried and like forgave myself for like a million things that I just like didn't understand.
Yeah.
So it was like ADHD and depression. They really like kind of go like around and around and around.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't have been depressed if I'd had this diagnosis and maybe some medication, but I do think it would have been like a softer cushion.
Yeah.
Because I still feel pain and I still feel things very acutely. They just maybe don't like make me think that I'm not going to see the end of the day. Like it doesn't feel like hard to take a breath. You know what I mean? So
did you give yourself more grace? Because I'm sure you were hard about yourself about like deadlines or why can't I remember this, right?
Oh my gosh. I mean, like the classics, deadlines, time, like I felt confused very often. But the worst thing for me was that I would get these like full body paralyses. So basically like I just wouldn't move for hours at a time and I would like stare and it was just getting like progressively worse. And I like went off caffeine and sugar last year because I was like, I'm going to try this thing. But I didn't realize those were like my stimulants. Like I've been using them as stimulants. And then everything just sort of got worse. And I had Lyme disease as a child. I mean, technically, like you always have it. But I sort of felt like maybe I'm having like a Lyme's flare. Yeah. And so I went to like, made a bunch of doctors. I literally called my mom to be like, I need your help. I looked at my phone 4 hours ago. I looked back like I don't know what's going on. So I went to a bunch of doctors. And yeah, it's been a really interesting journey. Just getting that information and understanding like more about how my brain operates. You know, I'd sort of been just told as like a kid from like sort of stereotypical school systems that I just wasn't probably very smart, which is really was a sad thing to be told. Yeah. Because I think everyone has a sort of a beautiful brilliance, whether I understand it or not. But and then just realizing like, I had ADHD and it was hard for me to retain certain things. Yeah. You know?
And there's so many ways to learn.
So many ways to learn. And I love learning.
Yeah. I have a family member. Actually, I have several family members that have ADHD and some have recently gotten diagnosed in their adult life. Yeah. And one called me and was like, now I know how you feel when you can get things done.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, it's crazy. She's like, it's changed my life.
It totally has. Yeah. Like, I thought there was something like fundamentally wrong with me. And now it's so nice because I get to like, I don't know, just like, even like my morning, like I pace my morning well. It feels like I get to show up for myself.
Yeah. That's great.
And I feel a lot less fear. I used to feel like this sort of like overall impending sense of doom all the time, which probably didn't help my depression. Yeah. And that just like has really quieted. And even on days if I like don't take medication because I'm just going to do something like gentle with friends, like it just doesn't even come back the same way. Or if like certain thoughts or feelings perk up, like I can talk myself through it because I understand what's happening.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing that just because I'm sure there's like in your songs, like sometimes we all get in our own head and feel like we're the only ones going through things. So, you know, sharing your story is empowering because somebody out there may be feeling the same way. And, you know, we're on the journey of like, is this perimenopause? Like, you know, what is this symptom or that symptom or whatever, right? Yeah. And you're like, things that you weren't ever taught when you were young, or you think you're losing your mind or something going crazy, and really it's just a chemical change in your body.
Isn't that wild? And shouldn't there be like a little bit more of a handbook on this?
Yes.
You know?
But at the same time, like that's the human experience. There is no handbook. Like I remember when I first had a kid, they just like give you the child and you go home and you're like,
so
I remember my mom would always say that because she had her first kid when she was 23 and then she was like,
imagine.
you have to take a driver's test, you have to be a certain age to drink, but they just let you walk out of the hospital with a baby. Like,
isn't that wild?
And I just remember I had a pediatrician for my daughter who was very experienced. So he would, like, I remember calling him and being like, but I tried this diaper rash and she still has a rash. And he's like, try a different one. It's trial and error. And I was like, but I want the answers. I went to a good college. Aren't I supposed to have the answer? Yeah,
right.
I would feel the same way. I would want the answer. Also, your baby's crying. You're exhausted.
Totally. You just want, I mean, like anything in life, you're like, I just want to solve this. Tell me how to solve it.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, there's no easy answer.
There is never an easy answer.
And everybody's their own little unique engine. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Works for you, doesn't work for me, whatever it is.
One baby?
2 kids.
How old?
They're 15 and 13 now.
Wow.
So I learned trial and error.
And then right when you think you know it, like everything changes.
Yeah. Although, yes. That happened more like regularly when they're little.
Yeah.
And now that they're 15 and 13, things are changing, but you can kind of talk with them about it.
Yeah.
But my son he's the 13-year-old. So he's definitely on the brink of like adolescence is the time of life when you individuate, right?
Yeah.
Like you learn to be yourself. And part of that, like part of the first ways to do that is to push back on your parents. The good news about this phase of life too is he just discovered the Smiths. So I'm like he started playing Lord Knows I'm Miserable Now or whatever one that one is. And he literally started playing and I was like, I know this song. And then I was like, oh, I know this song.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, it's so cool, isn't it? I was like, how did you find this? And he was like, well, it was in Spotify's relationship playlist.
Oh.
And he has a girlfriend. So.
Okay, well. I also love that he like went to Spotify and was like, relationship playlist.
I know.
Yeah, well,
like
he
we
makes-
never had that. We
Yeah.
just had to like
I know.
figure
We had
it
to
out.
burn. I was burning
know.
CDs. I don't know.
We were cassette tapes.
Yeah. I definitely like burned CDs of songs that I discovered from things you guys placed. Like that is 100% something that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because like 20 years ago, when 14,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
you guys were already placing music.
Yes.
So like I definitely, you fed me something and then I went to iTunes and then like burned it onto it.
Amazing. Do you have a particular
Yeah.
song that you found somewhere that you remember being like, I love that moment?
I mean, Grey's was so important at that time.
And then you got your music in it.
I did. I did a cover for them actually. I did a Mary Chapin Carpenter cover.
Oh,
And that
which song?
10,000 miles, is that? Yeah, 10,000 miles. And when I told people that, like friends, they'd be like, and I would. I was like, no, that's 500
that's
miles.
500
Oh, yeah, I know.
A little less.
Yeah.
Not
You're
quite
right. Yeah.
10,000.
So, but it was not. It was felt very like cool to be for them to be like, would you do
Yeah.
this? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
And if you grew up watching it, like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
even full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah Bareilles moments, like during like when I was in high school, like whenever she would have a song on a show, I'd be like, "Be Still My Heart," or Ingrid Michaelson.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I worked on One Tree Hill,
Yeah.
and I think we were Ingrid's first or second place.
Well, then I definitely heard that. It's interesting though. I was thinking coming in here today that music supervision. You guys are literally impacting so many people's lives beyond like the artist. There are so many songs that still travel with me to this day that I discovered from film and television.
Same
Like,
with us.
you know,
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
we got into
But
this.
isn't that
'cause
wild?
We felt that way
like
too.
you were literally like the timing of someone's life or the realization of something or maybe being open to love or like
Yeah.
I find music like really, I don't know. So it just is tripping me out because I was like, I always as an artist think of like music supervisors like, wow, they've changed my life. Anytime I get a call from music, I'm like, you're changing my life again. Thank you. But how many like millions and millions and millions of people's lives that you touch because you're like, here, I found this for you.
Aw.
Is that not the coolest thing ever?
I think we're just like fans
Yeah.
ultimately first. So it's like, I love this song. I'd be doing this anyway, where I'm like, I'm so obsessed with this, you
Yeah,
know? So
right.
it's like, now you all should listen.
Yes, which
and
is
we
beautiful.
found a job that let us do that.
Isn't that cool
Yeah.
that job exists?
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
did,
pretty
I did
awesome.
not know it
that
existed.
job didn't really exist until the aughts. Like well, it had it in movies, but I feel like sorry, that's wrong. That's really
Well, no, it
incorrect.
No.
existed, but it definitely came into the
Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
with the OC and
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Because I feel like
Especially in
90s
TV.
shows, like I don't really remember like
Well,
I'm-
Felicity was like my favorite,
that
and
was
the
a-
reason I moved out here and I found the women who did it and got to start to work.
wait,
on
that's
it,
so
but-
cool. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also like barely waking up in the 90s. I'm like a kid in the 90s. So
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah,
really thinking
No,
about
yeah.
it.
fair.
Yeah.
Totally.
If you think about iconic, like Harold and Maude, which used
Yeah.
Cat Stevens songs, like
Oh.
there were people doing what we did. Becky Mancuso Winding was the technical first
Yeah.
supervisor, but think about all these like movie musicals, like
Yeah.
Annie,
Wow.
right? So it's been around, right?
Yeah. Also, I just think that like with the advent of what you're talking about, sort of like the OC, Grey's, all the, music supervisors became so important to the health of the music industry and still to this day are like
Right.
actually one of the only consistently healthy parts. Sorry, music industry. But do you know what I mean? Just like
No, yeah.
you're still important in a way that like certain jobs are already just hitting obsolescence.
I saw a clip, it was like an Instagram or TikTok clip of like a music industry vet who was talking about how there are three main streams of income in the music industry. And one is like performance and one is mechanical. And those are both regulated.
Mm-hmm.
And the third is sync and it's not regulated. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that also just means it has more room to grow.
Yeah,
and-
on our side, we tried to unionize. We did not. We have no health care benefits.
We
no
did not
protections.
because the National Labor Relations Board
Yeah.
concluded that we are independent contractors for the moment.
But
that-
everybody on a film crew, TV crew, does get it. We are not. We see our rates going down. So
it's a really hard
yeah.
time in the industry. I think
We're having a really
film-
tough time. Like we're not able to pay our bills. Like we have so many
Yeah.
peers that are not even working right now.
If you're not
Yeah.
consistently on a show, you're
Well, and it's just leaner with the strikes. It's
that was a wild time.
It's still going on for us. Like we're still feeling it. We're in a
Of course. Well,
yeah.
I mean, usually
like,
I would have gotten like a few syncs in
Yeah.
that time period, and I was like, whoa, this was like definitely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have even thought that because I'm like, well, technically I'm not in film, but
Right. It's a symbiotic relationship, right?
And there's been, streamers blew up and now they're contracting again. So just fewer things are getting made. So fewer people are getting hired.
So we started a podcast.
and which is really cool.
Obviously, I've used a couple of your songs in my shows, and what nobody knows because we didn't actually use it, but I reached out to you last year to do a cover of When You Say Nothing at All
my
by
heart.
Alison Krauss.
Okay, so that was almost a year ago, like right now.
Yeah.
I was just hitting these walls where I like couldn't move, but I would like force myself in to the studio to be like, I am finishing this song. I love this so much. But it just meant so much to me that you called me. And in my opinion, I don't feel like I nailed it. I hit it out of the park, but I really, really tried.
I actually think you did.
Was this for Virgin River?
Yeah. So for Virgin River, Mel and Jack got married. And so the wedding moment was like, what is this going to be? And so at first we thought it was going to be like, what is the song she's going to walk down the aisle to? When You Say Nothing at All, which I heard when I was like 17 or 16 and was like, this is the most amazing song
really
ever. And
is.
Alison Krauss in
I
Union
love
Station's
her.
version is just like, her voice is just incredible. But the message of, you say it best. I know you love me when you just look at me. You say it best when you say nothing at all. But anyway, so we had this walk down the aisle moment, and initially we played that song on set. We had a local band record a version of it. But then when we got into post, the scene was not just her walking down the aisle. It was like it needed to swell into the montage of their vows and all these other things. And so that's where we were like, let's try a cover by some artist. Like you sound like Virgin River already. So that's kind of like criteria number one. Like the show definitely has a sound. So like that needs to be important. And then ultimately we used Patty Griffin Heavenly Day because it just...
I mean, Patty Griffin.
Yeah, well, totally. And it gives you all those things. It starts off quiet and then it like soars and it's happy and it's this joyous moment that we just didn't get there.
Also, like,
not because of your version or anything.
Alison Krauss, though. Like, not that that's what you're looking, but it's
no,
like,
because we tried her version, but that version, the production on it definitely lives in the 90s.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So it just didn't... and it didn't like swell enough. So we're like, let's do our own and we'll add strings and blah, 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 blah. But it just wasn't the right song at the end of the day.
Well, we had that happen in Love at First Sight where we had a song written for walking down the aisle and then the scene changed.
Yes.
And we ended up using
all
it.
these wedding moments.
I
Weddings
know.
are more challenging than you would think.
And I think that later when the editors and the director and the producers are in post too, it's like, oh, wait, no, let's make a montage. As they're doing that stuff. But we're like, but we had this beautiful song made.
Yeah. And in Love at First Sight, it turned from like slow emotional ballad to like uplifting wedding montage.
Yeah. Has there been in either of your journeys a song that you were like, this is it? This needs to happen. It didn't go, and either it was just like devastating because it would have been better than what happened, I guess, or is it devastating because you're like, I discovered the song, and then that song became like a huge hit via some other.
I think yes, a lot, and then but then you kind of like try to forget it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely had moments where I remember like at least one moment on One Tree Hill. It was like a season ender, and we used a song that was a classic song.
Yeah.
And I wanted to use a new Coldplay song. But it all worked. I'm not mad at what was in there at all. I think I was always, and I was younger at the time too. So Laura and I always love like, what's new, what's fresh? Like, not that nobody would be discovering Coldplay from that use. So that wasn't like the point of that one.
Well, I do remember working on something, like just sometimes where they're like, they're not going to be big. And it was like Sophie Tucker or something, or like.
I actually do have one of those moments. Yeah. We didn't use it because we couldn't afford it. And I think he wasn't licensing at the time. But on One Tree Hill, we temped in Gnarls Barkley Crazy into, it was a wedding. It was also a wedding, but it was a reception. Yeah. And I remember one of the notes I got back was like, what's this crazy disco shit? And I was like, y'all.
That's so funny.
And we couldn't afford it anyway because Led Zeppelin approved for that episode. So, but they won the Grammy that year.
Whoa.
So literally like 6 months later, my producer was like, you were right. I was wrong. You were right.
And you want to know, you're probably always right. And whether like, I just feel like when one, you're a fan, or two, when you're just like tapped into something via your sensitivity, like you just pick up on like a vibe and energy. energy, something.
There's just something special about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's often the case, but also like we were very in tune with what the latest priorities of the labels with. So like you can tell when there's a combination of like the label's excited and the song's amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's really special.
You know.
Yeah. I remember one was I was at South by Southwest and I remember going to the bathroom, like getting water, going to the convention center, like refreshing. And there were these people playing in a hallway, just an acoustic set. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are undeniable. I need to go see their live set.
Yeah.
Just the voice, everything. It was Mumford and Sons.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Lindsay. And Lindsay was
I
there
was
too.
there, yeah.
And I was like, we have to go see, because we realized we have like very similar tastes. We're like, we got to go see them play.
Yeah.
And all the other supervisors and, our friends there were like, why do you keep ducking out and going to this band? Like, Iggy Pop or whoever's playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, we love Discovery,
Yeah.
Once we came back and the network that I was working at, and we did a little presentation of played some songs, all that. And they said, they'll never make it.
Isn't that crazy?
And then I remember my other friend, she had discovered Two Door Cinema Club, who we
Wow.
loved. And they were also like, what's that?
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, maybe now is a good time to seg into what are some of your favorite sad songs.
So I made a list.
Good.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, she has a
I
notebook.
think you said like 1 to 2, but I have a longer list. Is that okay?
Yes.
Well,
I
We
like the color
recorded
of
with
your
Matt
notebook.
Berninger of The National, and him and his daughter, his 16-year-old daughter, compiled a list.
wait,
and he had
that's really
25
sweet.
songs. And
He literally kept going.
Wow. Light Years by The National.
Mm.
Okay, well, that wasn't even on my list, but I mean, that one
That was
messes
Morgan
me up.
Harper Jones,
Yeah.
too.
Did she say that?
Mhm.
That one, like,
Beautiful.
really, I'm so, whenever I hear it, like, I have this one story that just plays in my mind that I see it I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, my first most consistent sad song
Okay.
is by another guest on this podcast.
Ooh.
It's a Patrick Watson song
Oh.
called The Great Escape.
Yes.
Do you know this song?
Yes.
Yeah, we considered it as
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
it was our runner.
We did
for
ask
that
him about
episode.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
Well, first of all, he's phenomenal. The Great Escape, I was like maybe 15, 16. At this time, I was in Los Angeles, bizarrely taking public transport of a subway and a bus every day to school.
Oh, wow.
Impressive.
I don't know if I would do that now, but at the time, it was like just a bunch of kids went to the school. We all did this.
Yeah, good.
And I would literally listen to The Great Escape or like a Weepies album all the way there, all the way
also
back.
a guest
wow.
of ours.
Yeah, The Great Escape I would listen to like on repeat. I was like going through like these roving existential crises that would just like hit at the Universal station, like Universal City Walk
Yeah.
Okay.
train station. Like
Yeah.
I'd either be waiting to get picked by my mom or like about to get on the train, and all of a sudden it would just be like, what does anything mean? It was just like this horrible, like intrusive thought of like of existence would come in, and then I would just put on The Great Escape. And I would just like ride it out.
His voice, like,
it made you
and
feel
his
better?
Piano, it speaks to your soul.
Yeah.
It really
his-
does.
yeah.
He is so soulful. Well, I think just like crying releases stress. And so I just
Absolutely.
cry. But my
Yeah.
favorite line is just the opening line, by day looking for a way home, looking for the great escape. And first of all, perfect lyrics.
Yeah.
Relatable to everyone. I relate to that every day of my life still. So that is just like a treasure. I'm sure you feel
That's
the same
awesome.
way.
Yeah.
Another song that I am thoroughly obsessed with, and I'm sure you know this, but it's kind of a little bit more obscure.
Okay.
Cathedrals by Jump Little Children.
Oh, we used it on either like Smallville or Felicity or one of
Yeah.
those early aughts.
Because it came out in the
shows.
90s, that song, right? 99, I
I
think it
think-
came out in.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense
Yeah.
because this is like 2001, 2002. Vaguely
Yeah.
remember it.
It is such a good song. I want to cover it, and I want to cover it
Oh,
for one of your shows.
do
I'm like-
it.
I'm
yeah.
like, it is so heartbreaking. It's more or less just about like in the cathedrals of New York and Rome, there's a feeling you should just go home and spend a lifetime finding out just where that is.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? So I just like initially, like early on in my career, I was signed to Capital in Europe. And so
Oh.
I would like through Capital France. And so I'd go on these trips there to like basically do like go to Virgin Radio or like RTL2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was definitely like early days of like what became like a very painful depression. And I just remember after I'd done like whatever I had been meant to do that day, I went to the Sacred Heart Church in Montmartre.
Yeah, good work.
And I just like I was there with like someone from the label and one of my managers at the time, and they were just like inside the church, and I had to go out on the steps and just sit because I couldn't stop crying. And many years later, I discovered that song, but just that feeling of just like I don't even know why I was crying at the time, but like suddenly everything just felt like too much, and I don't even know if that was like related to like what was happening with work or like the world or what, and just hearing that line of just like it, like I'm in this literally at a cathedral, you know, this beautiful church, and like I'm feeling just like terrible pain and can't stop crying, and like I can't explain it to anyone. And so in later years discovering this song, it just felt like it kind of
encapsulated that moment.
Yeah. And like even though there's not like I don't really understand fully what was going on at that time, it was like really helpful. I think I discovered that song in 2019. Actually, I think it was on a show called The Society on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And I was sort of like, what do you mean? Someone else has felt this very specific thing.
Someone put your feelings
Right?
into
You were
lyrics.
looking for your personal Jesus.
I was looking for my own personal Jesus. That's so good.
Tied it back. See what I did there?
I love that. Thank you.
But I think we all are. Like
Yeah.
we're all looking, and like I think cathedrals and that's is, you know, since Middle Ages people were going there trying to look for answers, and there's some kind of
There is something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had like understood that more in that moment, because I think I just was like, it's so silly. I'm crying. Like I've been flown here by capital to like do the thing I love. And
You were caught in the practicality of the moment. Like, this doesn't make sense. I should be appreciating this kind of thing.
I mean, there were things I didn't know about myself yet, and I just wasn't like fully available to like. I was very, very sensitive, and like the world felt very loud all the time, and just like, and I just, you know, you want to be like a version of whoever you think you're supposed to be. I don't know. So I think that was I was just really like, I don't know who I am or what I'm doing here.
Well, you're in your 20s then, right?
I was in my early 20s. Also,
Yeah.
they like had severely photoshopped my face, and like it was just like things that now looking back, I'm like, oh, that was like not okay and like weird and like but at the time I was sort of like, oh, I think I'm just supposed to be okay with this. And just
well,
like
we were taught that too.
Yeah.
I mean, especially as women, but also you're trying to make it, so you're like, yes,
Okay,
yes, yes, yes,
whatever
yes,
you-
yeah,
yeah.
I'll do whatever.
it was like pre like Me Too and
Yeah.
like
And if you're under 25, you're an adolescent
I
until
was
you're
under
25,
I think it was,
right?
like,
Like your brain
21.
is still
Yeah.
developing.
21,
Yeah.
You're a child.
Yeah, and also like, but I was like told to lose weight and like was like went on a crazy diet. Like it was just like everything was bad. Like
yeah.
and I feel like if I'd said that to anyone at the time, they would have been like, "What are you talking? Like this is what you just do to get where you want to go." Like
Right. Yeah.
And I just think that like I was probably just like really malnourished or something. But it's funny because I was actually like very skinny at the time. And
I'm like, you were just starving.
I was
I
starving.
feel like sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I so mad and sad? And then I'm like, oh, I needed lunch.
I need
Yeah.
some bread.
Why am I crying at the cathedral? Cheese,
Yeah.
please. Like
Yeah.
you know, but like
Pass
Well,
the
maybe that
baguette
was it.
already.
You're like, I'm in Paris and I can't have my chocolate croissant. And
yeah, I probably did. But like, yeah, it was just like, I think and like, I don't want anyone to be like, who, like,
yeah,
it's
no,
just
no,
like an
it's just-
ethos of the time.
Absolutely.
It just was like different. And
Yeah.
those were normal things. And like, nobody knew.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like,
no.
how, like to smoke during a pregnancy. Nobody
Yeah.
knew. Okay. Do you know the song by Matt Berry called Take My Hand?
No.
No.
Oh my God. Okay, so Matt Berry is an actor. I think he's on a show called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I love that show.
And he like talks like this.
Yeah.
Do you know this man?
Yeah.
I don't really know him. I just like can in this one particular situation thank TikTok because I discovered Take My Hand. And I definitely do not think it's supposed to be a sad song. Every time I hear it, like I get hit with this pain and like sadness for like not taking action in the present moment and like a nostalgia for taking action now. Like it's the weirdest feeling. It's the only song that makes me feel that way. I can't explain it. It makes me so emotional. My sister, who is 8.5 years younger than me, came to town like a few months ago and randomly I was like, I'm obsessed with this song. And she goes, I'm obsessed with this song, which is weird because she's not even on TikTok. So I have no idea. It's like we just at the same moment in time.
yeah.
It was just, I don't know. So
Yeah.
just
Feels like meant to
hits
be.
really
Yeah.
good. And it's really simple. It's just take my hand, will disappear to a pub that's not too far from me. It's just like this, like just live, you know, if
Yeah.
you take the risk, your odds improve.
The
Anyway.
hope. Sometimes
The
hope can be
hope.
sad too. Or just that it's, or you're feeling things from the hope.
Maybe that's your poem song is your version of Take My Hand.
I hope that'd be so nice. I love that. Also, I always just put on Sound of Silence because it's like my original. That's like why I wanted to write music as a kid. And then very obsessed with Joni Mitchell's Cactus Tree,
Oh, I don't know that one.
which is basically like her just going through all the men in her life but she's too busy being free. So like there's this one man who loves her here and there. And what's really weird is I'm pretty sure I discovered this at like 11 and I was like, girl, I can relate.
Those were crushes or they checked yes for do you like me?
Literally. But I do think that like freedom is something that's really important to me.
Yeah.
So just mainly just to like travel or just do whatever sort of whenever I want to do it. And I just remember hearing that song and being like, oh shoot, I may relate to this fully grown woman in a way that I don't understand yet.
Aspirational.
Yeah. But it sometimes makes me emotional. It used to make me sadder like 10 years ago. But you should listen to it. It's really, really good.
Okay. Yeah.
Let Down by Radiohead's an honorable mention. I mean, you know where you are. I don't actually know what they say, but on that, you know where you are. It's like the bridge.
So
I'm not okay whenever I hear it.
it's like his performance too of the like, is that falsetto that he does?
It's
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Those are like more or less like just the little guys that I.
Yeah. She only brought a notebook full of her favorite lyrics of her favorite songs. Well, thank you so much, Lily, for being here. Pain and More is so beautiful. Such a Sad Song Queens album. So we're so happy to have had you here.
I really appreciate you having me.
It's me and Winnie here. Winnie wanted to help me record this. Wanted to thank Network Records. If you liked Lily's music, be sure to check out her album, Pain and More, that came out last year in 2024. If you liked Lily's songs and episode, be sure to check out Network Records' extensive roster. Also, be sure to check out Network's Spotify playlist, New Music We Love, Indie plus Folk plus Acoustic. We will link the playlist in our show pages and be sure to check it out. Winnie would also like to say thank you, and Mom, get off the microphone and screen because I would like you to take me on a walk and feed me.
Thank you for joining us today on Sad Song Queens, because you always need a good cry. We will link these songs in our show page and our Spotify playlist. Please also like, comment, and subscribe wherever you find podcasts. Huge thanks to Lily Kershaw, Ellen Gildersleeve, Danielle Romeo, Talia Rubino, and Joey Goldberger and Network Music Group.
Special production thanks to Stephanie Gangle, Eugenia Coe, Rob Seals, Jordan Lindsley, and our producer, Emily Cartham. Huge thanks to the Songwriting School of Los Angeles for letting us record live in their studio. Our theme song is All My Favorite Songs by Weezer, and our outro music is by Wyatt Rouse.
Hi, it's Lindsay from the Sad Song Queens podcast. You may have heard us allude to Rob or thank Rob Seals and the Songwriting School of Los Angeles at the end of our podcast. He has been so kind to let us record in his studio, and the Songwriting School is an awesome place. If you want to learn how to songwrite, record, or even information how to release or sync your song, there's a class for that.
The Songwriting School of Los Angeles is devoted to the artistry and industry of songs. To learn more, go to thesongwritingschool.com, where you can learn more or enroll in classes.